Just outside the hotel, and little weaselly Mizkiff rolls around to me. And I'm like, shut up, Mizkiff.
And he's giving me such rude attitude the entire time. Shut the up, tommyinnit.
This happened. I think it's cringe.
Back up, you're like, oh my God, this guy is evil. An evil, racist, homophobic
With great power comes great responsibility. And you just don't ever seem to take responsibility for your actions.
Hey guys, it's me. I'm showing my face.
Now, I know the previous video I did talking about the Nick A30 drama was the biggest nothing burger imaginable, and it almost seems like the stars have aligned. The weights have been put into balance because the complete opposite thing has happened now. There has actually been a big drama. Something on the internet actually happened. Now, I am sure you're aware of a very little YouTube group called the Dream SMP.
What does it say?
Whether you're a fan, a hater, or completely detached from it because you basically weren't a child that was growing up in 2020 lockdown, regardless of all of those areas, you probably still have heard of them. That's because this Minecraft server and this Minecraft group were huge and they made waves across the internet. I am not joking, by the way. It feels like a fever dream now, but if you go back to the year 2020, Minecraft YouTubers were absolutely dominating the scene. Some of them even getting so big that they made like alternate Twitch accounts to stream on, so they had like a more cozy audience. Also, this video is incredibly long and some of you just do not care about the drama. That's totally valid. So I do want to say on my other channel, the To Be Honest podcast, we've actually recently put out a gaming video with two of the other hosts, Dolan Dark and Colossal is Crazy.
Oh. Yes! Come on! 2 games in a row. I'm fucking
9.
lucky.
Got like 9 shots in a 6-barreled gun. The link to that will be down in the description. If it does well, we're definitely going to do more gaming videos, so please check it out. Now, there were a lot of members in the Dream SMP. There was Dream, tommyinnit, Jack Manifold, and it was really interesting for a time seeing some of these huge creators basically split off to do their own thing. Some of them still stuck to doing Minecraft. Like, for example, Dream is basically now doing Minecraft videos, but experimenting in VR. tommyinnit is slowed down on the Minecraft videos a bit to focus more on himself and also his comedy tour as well. Basically wanting to branch away from being just known as a Minecraft YouTuber. And J-Schlatt. Was J-Schlatt even a member of the Dream SMP? I have no idea.
It must get really hot and sweaty and humid inside that fursuit that you wear all the time. Why don't you come into my cuck shed?
I just remember him doing a stream a couple years ago where he mass banned every stan from his chat. Now, the Dream SMP has been covered countless times. I don't need to give an overview of it. Even people that were part of the Dream SMP ended up making videos on it, like, for example, tommyinnit. So lately, if you've been keeping tabs on the wonderful website that is Twitter, wonderful as in it is one of the worst websites on earth to ever exist, and the only people that thrive there are basically gimmick accounts. Gimmick accounts that put steak ads on their stolen tweets, and when you call them out for it, they block you. Now, like I said earlier, a lot of the creators from the Dream SMP basically split off and did their own thing. Some of them not even relating to Minecraft. Like, for example, tommyinnit and Jack Manifold, they started a podcast together called Shut Up, I'm Talking, which is only second best to the podcast that I have with a bunch of old people called To Be Honest. Now, on the podcast, Shut Up, I'm Talking, they yap about a variety of topics, and they're also known to have guest stars on. Like, for example, they had the Minecraft YouTuber that made KSI absolutely rent-free about him for a month to promote his album. But recently, on one of their episodes, they talked about another streamer called Mizkiff. Tommy basically saying that he had an interaction with the guy and didn't like the interaction at all.
Just outside the hotel, and little weaselly Mizkiff rolls around to me. It's like, and I'm like, shut up, Mizkiff. And I go, this is what I say to him. I go, you're right? And he goes, what do you mean, am I all right? And he takes it as an insult because Americans are stupid. And he goes, are you all right? And he's like, what do you mean, am I all right? And he starts getting tense with me. And I'm like, are you all right? And he's like, what do you mean, am I all right? And I was like, how you doing? He's like, oh, well, yeah, I'm fine. Why don't you just say that? And I was like, so hungry. The little stupid Mizkiffs down here looking up at me. I'm getting so annoyed.
Mizkiff didn't like this very much. Basically quote tweeting the Dexerto article saying he's British, which, to be fair, in retrospect is a completely valid point. As a British person, I can't really say much. I am one of 3 British people on the entire planet that still somehow has all my teeth. Now, Miz did eventually fire back properly, basically saying that his interaction with Tommy wasn't really good either.
So I'm looking at this kid. I'm like, I don't even want to talk to you right now, but I might as well make small talk because we're both just clearly standing here and I don't like you. I said some how you doing or something, and he gives me the rudest stare back. And I'm like, I hate this kid. but no one's around this poor little fellow at TwitchCon, and he probably lost his mom. So I'm just going to sit here and talk to the kid until Dr. Disrespect shows up and probably gives him a kiss on the cheek.
And then after that, how does Tommy respond? Quote tweeted him by saying, "You're just really hard to talk to." And then after that, XQC threw his hat into the ring as well. Probably because there was no more Gaza airstrikes to react to and clip.
Oh, that is crazy.
And what's XQC's LA Noir detective deduction? tommyinnit is unfortunately cringe.
This happened. I think it's cringe.
To be more cringe than tommyinnit is pretty fucking hard. But you pulled it off, pal. And that was an image of XQC meeting Donald Trump, which was part of some Aiden Ross Kick deal thing. I mean, it's probably stipulated in the contract when XQC moved over to Kick. You have to meet Donald Trump one time and clip farm with him. I also want to say it is absolutely unfathomable the numbers that tommyinnit is pulling here. Like, genuinely, a lot of Minecraft YouTubers are not getting anywhere near the views that they got 4 years ago. But all that fan base, they are still hard locked onto Twitter. The way that my brain works is a rule of thumb. If someone has pronouns in their bio, they've probably watched tommyinnit at some point. I like how I'm saying that as a snide, but you could literally apply the same thing to me. Yep, GG. And then the dust settled. There was no cataclysm. There was no earthquake. Everything settled down. Only joking. XQC came back and said, "From doing streams in my basement to doing streams with the president. How is that a diss? You went from dick riding Dream for a living to making jokes to teenage girls. Lock in." If anything, this really confirms like how fragile alliances are between streamers. Pretty much most of them probably dislike each other. But I've said this before, it's the same as going through high school, college, university. You'll have loads of friends. And then eventually that friend group gets smaller and smaller and smaller
until there's like, you know, a couple people that you can basically trust with your life.
Like, I've seen time and time again streamers that will go into the chats of other streamers, complain about someone else, only to have that person on their stream basically a couple days later. I never really understood that angle, honestly. I mean, would I ever go and see a tommyinnit live show? Hell no. But at the same time, I respect the fact that he's actually been able to escape, you know, Minecraft hell, because there's so many cases of streamers or YouTubers that are known for only doing one thing and they can never leave it, because if they leave it, they're doomed. They'll fall off into the abyss. And the fact that Tommy's been able to basically juggle doing both Minecraft and funny stand-up show, that's really cool. Jack Manifold as well, who I mentioned earlier, who was also actually in a stream with Tommy. And he also goes on to say that this insult basically just falls flat.
You're exactly what he wants every American citizen to be. Just like a little lapdog. Just being like, "Oh, Trump, I love you, man. I love you, man." He posts a clip of Tom's stand-up because it's a perfectly funny clip.
Anyway, thank you.
Which is perfectly funny. You know, good ending to a comedy set, whatever. Who cares? You don't like it, XQC, that's fine.
I don't want people to get it twisted as well. I'm not an XQC hater. Genuinely, I would rather watch an XQC stream instead of tommyinnit's any day. But then again, I'd probably rather not watch a Twitch stream in general. But I just think the overall insult of, "Oh, you're a children's entertainer and now you do stand-up," that's so cringe. I mean, if anything, it'd be worse if he stayed as solely a Minecraft YouTuber. That would be the cringe thing. And that was it. You know, the dust settled. And this is the part where I would end the video. It would be probably 8 minutes and 1 second long, so I could put mid-rolls in, and then I could go, "Oh, this situation was crazy, guys. Tune in next week when I cover something Charlie already did 3 days before." But all of that changed when Dream decided to weigh in. Now, this came completely from left field, mostly because no one at the time in this discussion was really talking about Dream. The only person that really did was XQC, and he was doing that to make a jab at Tommy. Now, Dream has always been someone that has been very emotionally invested into Twitter, to communicating with his fans. And I get it. If some people want to have that connection and they want to be more open, then fair enough. That is definitely something that I will never do on Twitter because I know it's a cesspit. If you've seen my Twitter, I basically run it like a pseudo gimmick account. I mean, I'll break character and tweet something genuine maybe once a year, but that's basically it. Now, when Dream did a quote tweet, I expected something at least 75 paragraphs long. Something that probably had the length of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. No, instead, he did a meme quote tweet. You know that meme of like the kid and he's got two options? One of them was called growing up and the other one was called becoming a retarded tommyinnit fan. I just like how Dream, someone that is known for very lengthy, very well-worded responses in like video format or on Twitter, just fully crashes out and just does like, he actually pulled out the impact font meme. Like you can see Jack Manifold react to it as well, and he can't even keep a straight face. Like it's not a good... like genuinely.
I think he's above tweeting out that sort of vitriol. And he said this, and I was just speechless. Years and years of this guy. Hello, my fans. I am good. I would never say slurs. I would never do all this. And he just drops a slur. No one mentioned him.
I like the person in Jack's chat, by the way, that goes, "Ooh, yikes," with like 2 crying emojis. Now, Minecraft fans will allow a lot of things, but one thing they will never allow is the R-slur. This then led to other Minecraft creators kind of dipping their toes in the water without fully committing to it. And then Tommy followed up by saying, no fucking way did I make Dreams say the R-slur again. Actual bastard. Now, the one thing you never do in your entire career is start drama on Twitter, because this will bring every single person out of their hole to make a jab at you. He can't reclaim it. He's on normal pills. Me liking every tweet dunking on Dream. Not now, honey. Dream is throwing slurs in its stands. 100,000 unnamed former Dream SMP fans waking up from stasis after 4 years to tell Dream he's an unlikable hypocrite. Donald Trump has announced Dream as his head of disability awareness and sensitivity. I like that one. I like that one. Now, something Tommy and a lot of Twitter ran with is basically kind of as like a half meme is that Dream got so triggered because they were making fun of Donald Trump. Even Tommy saying, all I had to do was get Trump involved and he finally cracked, huh? Now, the first place that I actually heard of this drama, because up until this point, I had no idea any of this happened because again, I do try to stay off Twitter as much as possible. I actually heard about this because Dream apparently stopped using Twitter and then he took to Reddit to then make a response, which he promptly deleted. Genuinely still confused on what the rules are. Honestly, not trying to be obtuse. Multiple people go viral calling me the R word and everyone explains that it's okay because they're neurodivergent. So then I see a meme that uses it and post it and get absolutely throttled for it. Obviously, it's the internet being disingenuous, but that doesn't completely invalidate anyone that might be upset by it. Most of the people calling me ableist for using it are the same people that lit off fireworks when Nicholas Cantu was the slur slinging slasher, including Tommy and its closest friends. It's either okay or not okay. The double standards are infuriating. I have my own reasons for having a problem with Tommy going around being the internet police and was expecting to get a lot of shit for going after poor Tommy that lies about me constantly. But I had no intentions of attacking every Dream SMP fan or being ableist, lamau. It was a dig at Tommy fans because somehow the worst of the ex-Dream SMP stans have congregated all to make up lies and shit on other creators. And Tommy feeds right into it to promote his Patreon, shows, book, or whatever he's currently promoting because he has absolutely no backbone. Either way, my lesson from this is that Twitter is somehow even less reasonable than I thought in the first place. Oh, and don't use the R word under any circumstance, even if you see a funny meme and you're autistic. Tick emoji. Lesson learned. Hopefully I can be forgiven. Back to coding. So after he deleted the Reddit post and he deleted the tweet, he then decided to talk about all of this drama on stream. Again, I don't think I need to say streaming is one of the worst things you can do when talking about serious drama. The main reason why I say that is because it's off the cuff. You're probably going to be a lot more emotional. There's no way you're able to do extra takes. So if you're basically not reading a script on your screen the entire time, it can get very messy very quickly. And apparently as well, Dream was even claiming on this stream, someone was trying to DDoS him to stop him streaming Minecraft. Now the stream ended up getting around 15,000 concurrent viewers, which is really good. That is until you go onto Twitch and you see Forzen is just eating food while watching a video without saying a single thing, and he has 50,000 views. And also the time that he streamed this was very bizarre. I guess he had some thoughts on his mind that he wanted to get out, but he was streaming at like 2 in the morning in America, which would be like the early hours of the morning for the UK as well. So it's basically like an international dead zone for everyone, I guess, except Australia. And this is where everyone also started to boot up their own stream to have their own input. A similar time when Dream went live, another Minecraft YouTuber, Tubbo, also went live to give his thoughts. And then he brought up new accusations about Dream's apparent bad behavior. And then Dream ended up reacting to Tubbo's stream, and they were basically just both talking about each other, but not directly. It was so confusing to follow. The thing is about this, Dream was never in the spotlight, and he didn't have to be. If he didn't make that tweet, none of this would have happened. But you can definitely tell with this situation, it's not just about XQC, it's not just about Miskiff. There has obviously been a lot of resentment towards multiple creators for quite a long time. And this is what happens. I've seen this happen time and time again. There are creators that really behind the scenes do not like each other, and they try to coexist because it's like, oh, well, I can't start drama with this guy because then it's World War III and it jeopardizes my bag. So I'm just going to coexist. I'll speak bad about you in private, but publicly I don't know, we're Sweden in World War II, we're neutral. But this has obviously reached another level because a lot of these creators have actually came out publicly to say that they really don't like Dream. So it's gone beyond that kind of, you know, fake neutrality. Now, the stream that Dream talked about is incredibly long. It is basically going over 3 hours in length, and he does it all within Minecraft, which to be fair, you know, is pretty on brand. But what happened after this? Miskiff, XQC, they seem to have reeled it back a little bit. Miskiff doing a little bit that he basically met tommyinnit in person. I mean, I will give him credit, to be fair, that does look a lot like tommyinnit. Hi, this is Future Pyro here, the very next day, because this drama is still somehow going. I'm trying to document as much of it as I can. Yes, I am wearing the same shirt that I wore yesterday. No, I don't care. So the stream that Dream started was quite weird. He dressed his character up as like a little detective, also had some noir music in the background. This is a thing that he's done before, by the way, in the past when he's came across other YouTubers that he's had beef with, or, you know, the speedrunning allegation stuff. So this is where things get confusing. He basically begins his stream by watching someone else's stream, Tubbo. Tubbo, again, is someone that was like huge in the Dream SMP. He got a lot of clout from that. But similar to tommyinnit, he doesn't really do Minecraft as much anymore. As much being like it's not the only thing he does. He does other things. Like apparently he's a DJ now. I'm very happy for him. So one of the first claims that Tubbo makes is bringing up the old allegations against Dream.
The Dream SMP ended around the same time that pretty serious allegations about Dream came out about grooming, and everyone was like, whoa.
And then he mentions that he thinks that Dream actually made a video debunking them.
I think Dream has since released a video like 3 years later disproving everything, so I think that's important to keep in mind.
But then Dream goes on to say that he doesn't like the way that Tubbo worded it. Apparently he thought it sounded disingenuous.
The way that he mentioned it feels kind of disingenuous to me, like, hey, you know, I think Dream might have put a video out. I think, just say Dream released a video debunking the allegations. Just say that. It's not hard to say that.
Because he thinks the way Tubbo's wording it is like he didn't debase the allegations, he just put a video out talking about the allegations. You've also got Tubbo saying as well that he believes that money can basically just make anything go away, no matter what the problem is. If you throw enough money at it, it will just disappear.
Like, okay, but enough money can make anything disappear.
And again, that's something that Dream doesn't like the implication of.
Essentially, the implication there is that, oh yeah, you know, I have a tinfoil hat that money can make anything go away. Not go watch the video and police conversations, lawyers' involvement, evidence of screenshots and logs and extensive research.
Then Tubbo starts to talk about 2023 and 2024 in more detail, saying that this was a time where a lot of creators were making jabs at each other, but not really trying to resolve anything in private. And then Dream has a problem with Tubbo saying that because he personally doesn't believe that it was everyone. He thinks it was just Tommy, Jack, and his friends doing all the kind of shit slinging and bullying him, essentially.
Their mentality has just kind of been like, yeah, fuck doing anything in private. Let's just make jabs at each other. Let's just start slinging shit.
But again, I've made this point before. The thing is with YouTube groups, what always happens time and time again is everyone knows each other. Everyone's friends, because you kind of have to be, right? It's the same as high school. You don't want to be the kid on their own. You've got to join some kind of group. But then what happens is over time, you notice that the people you're around, you might not really like them too much as maybe some other friends. And then you become distant with these people. You might not talk to them as much. And then eventually that might transform into you just straight up not liking that person. Because in retrospect, you realize they were probably not really that good of a person. And I was only really friends with them for the sake of content. And I think with YouTube, that's exacerbated a lot because, okay, so let's say you've had like a friend group at like high school or college or uni, and you know, maybe you've been friends, maybe you don't get on, but then like after that segment of your life, that very brief segment in retrospect, only a couple of years, that's it. Like, you know, you're never going to see them again. There's loads of people, for example, when I was going through education that I didn't like and I didn't keep up with them. I think everyone can admit that there was at some point in their life, they spent a couple of years in education or online and they just didn't like that person. But with YouTube, it's different because you're essentially clocking into an office job every single day. The world's laziest office job. I mean, come on, we're YouTubers. We sit behind a computer basically just reacting to videos half the time. But the point I'm trying to make is it's really difficult because there could be content creators that you might not like, but you can't really do anything about it because you're sharing like 3 office cubicles with them. Now, Dream does also say, as apparently a way to prove himself, if you go on his Twitter and you search up Tommy or Jack, there'll be a clean record. There'll be no instance of him instigating some kind of argument or sniding.
Anyone that, you know, wants to go and look themselves, go through my Twitter, go search the term Tommy or Jack, go through my YouTube, go through my Twitch, anything you want. I promise you, you'll find not a single time because it's just not, I don't know, it's not how I am, and it's also not It's just it hasn't happened.
But that being said as well, Dream deletes tweets a lot. I mean, I'll be honest, half the tweets that I've gone over covering this video, he's already gone ahead and deleted. And on top of that as well, he also does a lot of tweeting on multiple accounts because the guy has, I think, 3 or 4 different Twitter accounts. And this is actually something that Tubbo summed up on his second live stream going over Dream's stream. So you've got Dream reacting to a stream of Tubbo, and now Tubbo is doing his own stream, reacting to the stream of Dream reacting to his stream. Do you see why this is so confusing to follow? So what Tubbo tries to do on his stream is circle back to older beef because, like I said earlier, it's really obvious that this didn't all just start from an XQC snide. This has been a long-running beef behind the scenes, and XQC, everyone's favorite kick boy, was basically the catalyst for all of it. He set this all off, although, you know, inadvertently. He talks about tommyinnit's If YouTubers Were Honest video, which is a video that made fun of a lot of big creators. There was Mr. Beast, Andrew Tate, KSI, Logan Paul, and then, of course, there was a snide at Dream in the video. Now, it doesn't take someone with an English degree to realize that in this video, Tommy doesn't really like Dream very much. When he's pretending to be him, he's making him out to be incredibly overdramatic, putting on a funny voice.
Stop ignoring me.
What?
Stop ignoring me. You haven't replied to my DMs in a whole week.
Yeah.
And Tubbo personally believes that this is where the bad blood between Dream and Tommy started, which, if that's the case, is hilarious.
I think this started with the video Tom released titled If YouTubers Were Honest.
So Dream says this isn't true, and he says it started all before that. Apparently, Dream told Tommy to stop making PDF file jokes about him.
Because it's just not true. It may be what Tommy told you, Tubbo. This started actually with me sending a message to Tommy about him making jokes about me before my allegations came out.
And this apparently as well was well before Dream had any allegations about him in the first place. And then he pulls up a screenshot of some texts he had with Tommy. He says that this is in response to Tommy joking about him being a PDF file for texting underage girls.
And Tommy, in reaction to that, a secondary video that they did where someone said that, and they happened to be a girl, he made, I don't remember what the exact comment was. I'm sure that people after this will find the clip, but he made a comment saying essentially, oh, of course, what a nonce. Like, of course, Dream's going to do that. Like, oh, wait, was she a kid? Like, of course.
Now, the texts in question, to be absolutely crystal clear, they weren't anything bad. It was basically just him thanking kids from the React channel for reacting to his content.
Basically, there was a React channel called React. They made a React video to Dream Manhunt. And I had DM'd pretty much every reactor that was in the video saying, hey, thanks for reacting to my video. That's awesome. You know, thank you. I appreciate it. Whatever, right?
He also reads out the rest of the messages that were cut off. And it's just basically making the same point of, I don't appreciate that you're making these jokes, especially when people are getting false allegations all the time. And it's not fair that you're being mean to me, but I'm being kind to you, according to him.
That type of thing was something that I had talked to Tommy about before, and that Tommy had actually done again and again and again and again. I expressed to Tommy in private that, hey, you're perpetuating this image that I am a creep. And I sent him, obviously, the rest of this message. I feel like you have such a dream of what you want your fan base to be, and part of that means shitting on me constantly to cater to the people that despise me just for existing. And that hurts because I know that I wouldn't do that to one of my friends. I don't care about mean jokes or poking fun or whatever, especially due to your character. Literally everyone I know does that to each other, and I don't feel bad when it comes to anyone else. I've always been nothing but extremely positive about you publicly and privately, and you're one of the few people I even talk to at all, even if we don't talk all the time. I just don't talk to that many people.
And then Tommy, obviously watching this stream of Dream bringing up old DMs, then posted himself, I just want very famous YouTubers I liked when I was 16 to stop leaking DMs and me being a bit awkward. Is that too much to ask? I mean, if anything, I don't really understand why Dream is sending this incredibly long message to Tommy. I guess the angle he was trying to go here was, you know, for something kind of lighthearted and not too heavy-handed. But honestly, if people are making jokes about you that you don't like, you either distance yourself slowly, or you just straight up say, cut that out, or I just don't want to associate with you anymore. There's no need for, you know, the Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix Bible entry. But at the same time as well, you're a content creator. Unfortunately, this is an industry where not everyone's going to like you. And I get it. This was who I assume you thought to be a friend at the time. But friends, good friends, are going to make jokes at your expense. That happens a lot. And I feel that this could have been nipped in the bud very early if he just basically said, okay, that's enough. I'm probably going to just cut you off and walk away if you keep up with this, instead of the kind of, oh, it doesn't feel right. I don't know, man. This kind of sucks. And again, I don't know tommyinnit. I've met him once in my life. I've had one Discord call with him. I've texted with him a couple of times. I would not say he's my friend. But despite that, I've seen clips of tommyinnit on streams making fun of me. Am I going to mold through the floorboards about it? Am I going to send him a message be like, that was really mean? Can you stop it? Like, no, I don't, because it's just part and parcel of the job that I do for a living. Unfortunately, being a content creator, you do have to get a thick skin, because if not, like, you're screwed. And then he skips forward into the timeline a little bit, talking about the downfall, the end of the Dream SMP. And that was after the allegations against Dream were kind of all over and done with. So he talks about Quackity and the USMP and the QSMP situation. I do want to say, by the way, as a side note, I'm sure Quackity is praising the heavens right now that he's bilingual and he knows Spanish, because that was basically his ticket to find a completely different audience and just get out of this entire drama sphere. And then he goes on to say that Tommy was apparently actually involved behind the scenes. Tommy, according to Dream, was involved in making the USMP in the early stages, and he was also involved in the QSMP. So things then get a little bit spicy when Tubbo alleges that Dream was apparently insistently texting tommyinnit's mum.
Oh, you guys know about that. Okay, you know about Dream DM Tom's mum. Okay.
Now, I had to actually find out if this is true or not. So apparently what happened is Tom blocked Dream's number. So Dream then went ahead and sent tommyinnit's mom like 8 biblically long paragraphs. I genuinely have no idea why you would have your YouTube mate's mum's number. But all right, so Dream in response tries to set the scene for us. Tommy is talking to him and getting really excited about being in the USMP, mostly wondering when it's going to come out. Dream isn't really sure himself, so he tries to work things out with Quackity at the time. Tommy then, according to Dream, says, fuck Quackity, we need to go, you can't wait on him. And then according to Dream, a month later, Tommy then released his If YouTubers Were Honest video. Keep in mind, I do want to say on Dream stream, he does show no proof of any of this. There's no screenshots. It's basically just like source, trust me.
I can get more of these screenshots, just take my word for it.
But he believes in his opinion that Tommy only made the video, like, you know, with a little subsection sniding on Dream to basically try to get Quackity's attention so he can hopefully get in the QSMP.
And actually, whenever Quackity launched the QSMP, I was like, hey, I'm waiting on, you know, I told Tommy was asking me, essentially, he's like, you know, when is the USMP coming out? I want to be a part of it. And I said, man, I'm trying to work things out with Quackity. And Tommy, literally Tommy's reply was, fuck Quackity. We need to go. You can't wait on him and let him, you know, basically take the shine. Then Tommy, a month later, releases a video. I genuinely, I was shocked.
Okay. I don't like it very much. I don't like it.
You know, he starts it by, you know, having it be, you know, oh, I don't like that idea, you know, whatever, obviously, which is just disingenuous.
Hey,
but from my perspective, I see this video and I go, wow, Tommy is on his knees for Quackity because he wants Quackity so badly to add him to his server.
So according to him, he finds the video a low blow, dishonest, and it was apparently an effort to get on Quackity's good side to get in the QSMP. One thing I do want to point out, though, I did go back to rewatch the If YouTubers Were Honest video. It's a 10-minute video, and it's only basically at the 6-minute and 40-second mark when Dream actually makes any kind of appearance. So if anything, for a video that was like so, you know, dedicated towards him to try to spite him and to get good with Quackity, it's only a third of the video, and it's the last third of the video as well. So Dream goes on about his relationship with Quackity kind of falling off a little bit, and even though he doesn't have any proof, he proposes a game theory that it could have been Tommy basically talking into Quackity's ear as the reason being why Quackity kind of stopped talking to Dream, even showing some DMs where he tries reaching out and Quackity basically just stonewalls him.
I'm obviously messaging Quackity, and him portraying me, you know, saying like, no, it's my idea. It's not true. My messages and my text to Quackity, which I think I shared a while ago, I was, hey, let's figure out something to make this work. You know what? You know, essentially, yeah. Why aren't you communicating? Let's communicate. Let's, you know, I'm fine. I don't even know if I said I'm fine with not. I think I said I'm fine with not doing it. It's not worth our friendship. You know, whatever. But I think that there was something that happened here, and it, you know, obviously I can put my tinfoil hat on like Tubbo and say I think it could be Tommy. I think it could. There is a chance that it's Tommy somehow in this regard, because I don't know what does Quackity think? Does Quackity think that I'm, you know, like, is Tommy in his ear saying, "Dreams, you're doing this server," and he's, you know, telling Quackity things or something? I don't know. I have no idea what's happening.
So at the end of the day, really, without proof, he doesn't know why Quackity stopped talking to him, and I'll be honest, I don't know if this was really something that should have been aired out in a live stream. When people that you thought were your friends or fellow content creators stop talking to you, that sucks. It really does suck. Personal experience, I've had that happen a multitude of times, but the last thing I would ever think of doing is actually airing that out. Because if you air that out, it just kind of makes you look a little bit pathetic. Like there's no way to word it properly. Even if you feel like you've been really hard done by and someone stops speaking to you for no reason, you don't then basically spread it out to your audience. So he continues on about Tommy's video, basically summarizing that it's not really reflective of Tommy's actual opinions. And to dream is basically a selfish, money-grabbing, no backbone move.
I think that obviously there was a disconnect here where, if you watch this from the very, very beginning and you say Dream versus Quackity, and then Tommy's perspective, and my perspective, he makes it out to be this when his opinion privately was not only was it not this was not his opinion, this was not what he expressed privately, even in showing support to me privately, support to the USMP privately. It was in my mind such a selfish, this is just me being completely honest, selfish, money grabbing, no backbone move. It is. He wanted to join the USMP, and then when the USMP, and he to the last second was like, no, fuck Quackity, fuck the QSMP, we can make it, whatever. And then when I decide, I go, you know what, I don't want to do the USMP. I don't want the, I feel like there's too much drama, whatever. I don't want to do it. Then he goes and does this and drops this video.
So back to Dream messaging tommyinnit's mother. It's just like, saying that sentence out loud is crazy. So why did he do this? Apparently, he said himself he sent a scathing message to Tommy, which he doesn't show, but he does say in retrospect was quite mean. And then Tubbo in his stream basically says that Dream started privately messaging Tommy's mom after Tommy dropped that video. And then Dream basically tries to give context, saying it's really disingenuous to say that I messaged Tommyinnit's mother out of the blue. Now again, if you're employed and you don't know about like the Tommyinnit law, his mom is actually quite a well-known public figure. Another example is Queso. If any of you are watching this that are female, you probably watch Queso. But Queso's mom, much like Tommy's mom, are both public figures. They own Twitter accounts. They tend to interact with the community a little bit. I think at one point she even had a YouTube channel where she would just talk about her life, her son. And like I said, Tommy's mom has a Twitter account where she talks about a lot of things, promoting her son, talking about her life, and even talking about this situation. If you go on her Twitter right now, she's basically retweeting anything against Dream, which like I think it's so hilarious that the situation is basically boiled down to a content creator's mom has had to get involved. I also want to say, as a little bit of a side note, I've just went through Tommyinnit's mom's Twitter, and his mom genuinely just seems so nice. If anything, I know this sounds a bit weird, she reminds me of my mom as well, in the sense of like, you can tell that this is someone that like really supports their kid, everything that they're doing. And I just think that that's really, really cool. And yeah, to be fair, let's be real, after everyone found out what I was into, probably there were 3 moms left on the earth that wouldn't just walk away and cut contact with their son. There's also an example Dream brings up of Tommyinnit's mom responding to a Dream fan.
So like, here's a tweet, that Tommy's mom made, and she was actively replying to fans, right? To my fans. And I'm not saying that these people were being, whatever, but in this case, this person says, your son's behavior is not appropriate at all, which is why I bring, because she's obviously replying to somebody that, the same person that's, tweeting publicly. And I believe it's inappropriate for me to respond to people who include, and they said like, why do you, they were critiquing her for responding to fans. And she's still, arguing back and forth with these people. Now, obviously, what I'm about to say is you could technically say about me. So I guess maybe it's only my opinion because she's his mom and not a content creator. But why are you on Twitter arguing with 16-year-old Dream stans about the fact that they don't like Tommy's video?
You know what? I'm so happy that lockdown ended. Could you imagine if this was still going? This reminds me a lot of the Family Guy bit when the Irish people invented whiskey and they basically just stagnated as a species because they just weren't getting anything done. And Dream basically feels the way that Tommyinnit's mom was responding to Dream's fans. He felt that it was okay to message his mom directly.
So I also understand the sentiment that she shows in this tweet when she says, on this tweet that, I think if I mention I have every right to respond, because I think they said like, your mom didn't raise you right or something, which is rude. And that's not something that I don't support someone saying that, but they're just mad and it's like a random, kid on Twitter probably saying it. And then she's like, but she says something that I actually agree with. I think if I mention I have every right to respond. Why on earth should I be silent and simply accept name calling and rudeness? I definitely wouldn't accept it in real life. Preach. So why that's exactly what Tommy, had expressed. That's one of the only issues Tommy had ever expressed privately to me, was with me replying to people in that exact same scenario. So I actually agree with her on this. And so as she's actively replying to, Twitter accounts. He's replying to stans and fans that are talking, that are talking about Tommy's video. I sent her a DM.
I do want to give my personal opinion here. I feel Dream is the kind of person that if he sees something that he doesn't like, someone talking about him or something happening, he will go out of his way to message that person directly to try to resolve the issue. And that on the surface level sounds completely fine. It's like whoa, he wants to resolve issues. What's wrong with that, bro? The problem is that's not the way the internet works. It's not the way the world works. I've had many examples of friends that I have IRL and they're being talked shit about by their friends, or they have seen a message that they might interpret as like a little bit of a snide. You can't then just, brute force reach out and be like, hey, what's the issue here, bud? This kind of stinks. Even though that would be a very quick way to resolve all conflict on Earth, that just isn't how humans work. We're a little bit more tactical than that, a little bit more calculating. And also, there are chances that things that are being said online, especially through text, can be completely misinterpreted. I mean, I know people that have had like a message said about them that has lived rent-free in their brain for an entire week, only to find out that the message wasn't even about them at all. I'm not saying it's the situation here, but I'm saying that the way Dream deals with things by trying to confront everyone to try to resolve situations in his head, if anything, it's creating this effect that it's doing the complete opposite. It's pushing people away further and further. And you could argue by this point, Tommy's mum, Tommy, other YouTubers in the scene just didn't like him at all. And yeah, that sucks. But again, it's like what I said earlier. He could have messaged directly to try to basically get them to stop, or he could have distanced himself, or just completely cut off these people. And I know that Dream's in this weird situation because it was the Dream SMP. He was the biggest YouTuber in that scene, and that's not even like up for debate. I know a lot of people don't like him now, but it was the case. There were a lot of people that wouldn't have a career if it wasn't for Dream. But at the same time, if you go around trying to micromanage all these people to make yourself happy, it has that effect of making you an incredibly unlikable person, whether you want to be or not. But yeah, overall, Dream is basically trying to say that the way Tubbo is wording it on his stream, it makes it look very disingenuous. And he's trying to make it look like that he DM'd Tommy's mum unprovoked. He did DM Tommy's mum, just not unprovoked. So he spends some time then talking about how he's received a negative reputation.
I know a lot of you watching this, or even people seeing clips of this, or, whatever. I know a lot of you don't like me, or you think very negative of me, or you have, these opinions. And sometimes those opinions are formed based on, years, like Tubbo said, years and years and years of information that's gone into your brain, or experiences, personal experiences you had, whether it's with me or my fans or with anybody.
And I mean, yeah, that is factual, because I go onto Twitter, I go onto YouTube, I have a very, very hard time seeing a single instance of someone actually liking Dream. I'm sure that there are still groups of stans that worship him and adore him. They're probably hiding in a fallout shelter right now after all of this has gone down. Now, one of the biggest things that Twitter is running with right now is apparently the fact that Dream is a Trump supporter, which is very, very bad, because a huge majority of the Minecraft community, the stans, the fans, especially people that came in from 2020 lockdown, they're left-leaning. I mean, if the pronouns in bio didn't give that away, I really don't know what else to tell you. But that is one thing that people have consistently ran with, that he's a bad person because he supports the orange man instead of the changing accent woman. But the only instance I could really find was this tweet that Tommy made saying all I had to do was get Trump involved, and he finally cracked. Which, like, I wouldn't take that as an admission that, like, 100% proof. Would I find it funny? Yes. And this has obviously led loads of people to meme on it. Like, for example, George Not Found, who is one of Dream's best friends, especially after the schism of the Minecraft community. He's one of the few creators that stuck by Dream. And there was a picture of him holding up a Trump flag. Now, for context, he was basically holding up a package that he was sent as a joke in a fan mail video. And then Dream admitted later on in the stream that he did actually end up voting for Kamala Harris in the US election. I just love the fact that he basically had to come out and say who he voted for. Like, that was... I will never get Americans, genuinely. Just use the British method. Hate everyone that is in power equally. You know, right now we've got Labour in power. They're one of the few left-leaning major political parties in the UK. And the only reason that they got in is because people were voting against Conservative. Because people hated Conservative so much, Labour got in. Not because people wanted Labour to get in, because they hated the major party so much that they basically slid in. You're probably wondering now, because we're talking about politics, who do I vote for? I waste my vote every year. I vote Green Party. See, if you guys didn't know what is a masterstroke move, if you're a YouTuber or a rich person, always say you vote in Green Party, because you sound like you care about the planet, but you know that they'll never actually get into power. So I can say that I'm a really nice, wholesome guy, but at the same time, I know that my taxes won't be affected. And then after a brief interlude, Dream talks about how he believes for the past year and a half that he has been bullied by Tommy, Jack Manifold, and their friend group.
There have been people like Jack, Tommy, Harry, others that have been taking jabs, bullying me, attacking me and spreading lies about me. And that's been happening over the last year and a half.
And he denies that he started or insinuated anything because he thinks that Tommy has just been bullying him the entire time.
People saying Dream started this, it's like ridiculous. Like yes, in this instance, I was not technically involved. Obviously my name was mentioned, but I was not technically involved. But I did not, this was not people saying like Tommy lives rent free in my head. Like, no, that's not, he's been jabbing at me in videos, podcasts, on every platform essentially for the last year and a half.
Now, Dream says that he's been kind both publicly and privately to them.
Even privately been kind to, Tommy hit 50 mil and I sent him a text saying, hey man, congratulations. I remember when I hit 50 mil, it was great.
He talks about Tommy's beef with Logan Paul and goes over the whole timeline about that. If you remember, there was a very brief glitch in the Matrix where tommyinnit and Logan Paul were actually friends. Well, they were probably never friends, but more just, collaborating for content because Logan needed to grab someone in the UK when he was visiting who was a huge YouTuber that wasn't KSI. And Tommy back then was still one of the biggest creators in the entirety of the UK. Obviously, Tommy has gone on to say recently that he just doesn't like Logan anymore. And I really don't blame him. And Dream does agree that in that situation, Tommy was in the right.
A prime ad during like the Gaza conflict thing, which is terrible. He should not do that. Deserves criticism. And I don't think that this tweet by Tommy is a problem.
Okay, guys, maybe we can save Dream. He did say that tommyinnit is better than Logan Paul. We're making steps, albeit small ones. Logan, obviously, I will be honest, as much as I've criticized Logan a lot, he's helped me eat good, right? I think I've been making videos on him on and off for about over 5 years now. I've even clickbaited his face when he was one of the biggest YouTubers in America to promote and talk about other films that had nothing to do with him. But by showing the DMs that Tommy and Logan Paul had on stream, which Tommy posted himself, he's basically trying to paint the picture that Tommy has no backbone. He's a snake. He's completely disingenuous. Trying to paint the picture that Tommy will basically flip-flop for whatever the popular opinion is, despite the fact that someone might have actually been through controversy or not.
Even when knowing about these things, he's in his DMs, calling him, inviting him to stuff, trying to get invited to stuff, being friends with him, talking to him. Does this not show that Tommy is disingenuous? Does this not show that Tommy is disingenuous? Tommy is in Logan Paul's DMs, being friendly with him, even after all these terrible controversies. And then the second he can get public clout from it and get public attention, likes and views from shitting on Logan Paul, then he does it.
Now, I do want to give my opinion here. First of all, welcome to being an online entertainer. No one has any backbone. Bro, if you could line up every single Twitch streamer right now and they had to pick out who their actual friends were that they spoke to outside of content, then each person would probably be able to name like 2 people tops. But on top of that as well, Logan was in a very weird place because, yeah, he did do the forest situation. He did tase a rat afterwards and then he lost his monetization. And then after that as well, he then went to basically flex when TMZ were interviewing him, saying that even though his channel's been demonetized, he's still making money from his merch. That was a real clip, by the way.
Just wondering, what are you doing for money, seeing as your main cash cow now you can't work for? What is it? Clothing.
But Logan is someone that has associated himself with so many successful people, like, for example, WWE, KSI, Mr. Beast, that he has this weird, how do I explain this? He's like a crescent moon, right? So you've got like all this drama and all this stuff he's been through, but then you've got the little light bit of the moon that the sun is shining off. And that's the part that the public sees. That's the part that makes people think Logan isn't actually that much of a bad person. And the way that Tommy is talking to Logan, I can personally vouch for this. Again, I've said this before on stream. One of the first interactions I had with tommyinnit was him reaching out to me. I was in a Discord call with him, and he was basically trying to pick my brains for an hour on how YouTube worked. And I heard that he did this with a lot of other YouTubers at the time because he was a ladder climber. He was trying to, get as much information as he could to be successful himself. Is that a bad thing? No, he's just trying to understand what it takes to be a YouTuber and build as many connections as possible. Networking is one of the most important things you can do as an e-celeb because a lot of people, they really can't survive on their own. After I gave him the advice, which I don't even remember what I said, probably just to upload more. Do I feel like I was used or taken advantage of? Do I feel like he had no backbone? No. I mean, honestly, going through this, the only real thing I can gauge from Tommy is that he was a bit of a networking Andy. That's a pretty normal thing in the industry. And that's especially something that you have to do when you live in different areas of the world. I mean, a good example is LA, right? You got so many streamers there. Ludwig, one of the biggest streamers, he pulls in dozens of huge content creators. How did he do that? Networking Andy. It's one of the core principles on how to grow as a content creator. Now, he talks more about him and Tommy's relationship, saying that he was like kind of a mentor figure to Tommy, a Qui-Gon Jinn from the first Star Wars film, if you will. And they used to call for hours and hours on end talking about YouTube. Dream says he shared a lot of information, a lot of tips, a lot of guidance with Tommy.
Me and Tommy pretty much called almost daily, maybe every other day, for hours, talking about YouTube.
And he even says that Tommy has actually got documents full of YouTube strategies that helped him.
He has documents with tons of YouTube strategy things.
And he did all of this out of the goodness of his heart, not any contractual obligation.
There was no contracts. You know, I never gained any money from Tommy. I don't know, it would be the kindness of my heart, wanting to learn, wanting to talk to Tommy, that I had those, you know, those calls.
What a sweet guy. I mean, I am going to be honest here, mate. I'm looking through Tommy's channel. I'm not really sure what the advice or the guidance was, because looking at his thumbnails, it basically looks like every Kwebbelkop reaction thumbnail I've ever seen. I mean, I can see that he's used a bit of like chromatic aberration thumbnails, like he looks like he's about to evaporate. That's pretty much it. Obviously, I know that goes more into the content, the creation, maybe the ideas for the videos, but I don't think anyone knows how YouTube works. No one knows how YouTube works. Unless you get like a contract and you get like bumped behind the scenes. There's no way that anyone knows how this website works to get bangers consistently. I've said this time and time again. None of these people would be anywhere near as successful if half the world wasn't locked inside their homes with nothing to do. That's the reason why now, because the world is kind of back to normal, these people are getting around a third of the views that they used to, because people just don't have time anymore. They're too busy playing Marvel Rivals and gooning at all the skins. It is a difficult one because I do believe that Dream would have gave Tommy some advice, 100%. But he's saying he's doing this in the goodness of his own heart, but he's now using it against Tommy. But he's only using it against Tommy because he feels like he's been hard done by. He also brings up another accusation levied at him that I actually hear quite a lot, that he, Dream, takes credit for other people's success.
But people are saying that I love taking credit for people's success. Like, what credit have I taken? I've not taken credit for anybody's success. The only thing you can remotely point to is that one tweet, which was obviously a joking thread between me and Tommy, but also initially started as Tommy taking credit for Filza's YouTube.
This was actually something that was brought up by Filza, who's another former Dream SMP YouTuber. Filza was someone who basically blew up and got on Dream's radar because he did a hardcore survival world. He survived a very, very long time on hardcore mode in Minecraft, which if you didn't know, once you die in hardcore, it bricks your save. You can't load the file again. There is no respawning unless you've got that funny term of undying that everyone holds in their inventory. And to be fair, I never watched a single Minecraft video, but I did catch up on Filza's stream. I even saw the point where he got killed by Warwick Davis. So Filza bringing this up against Dream was in response to a sort of jokey mock argument that Dream and Tommy were having on Twitter. This is a series of tweets that does actually get brought up from time to time, and so does this tweet from Dream, which then prompted Filza's response to begin with. But a lot of people, including Filza and Tubbo, personally feel that this isn't a joke at all.
The tweet when you put an arrow on the graph pointing at Tom's subscriber growth after he met you, insinuating that all of that growth was because of you, that is when you did that.
Credit for anybody's success.
Except for that time I just said.
And this is definitely one of those where it does turn into a he said, she said situation. You know, who you're going to believe depends on the likelihood of who you like more. And at the minute, the internet as a whole is more inclined to believe Tubbo and Filza over Dream, because Dream is definitely not liked at the minute on the internet. It is very hard to interpret what the intentions could be here. Maybe it was playful banter, someone's feelings got hurt and they took it more literally than what was actually being said. But his excuse for it is basically saying the entire thread was a joke. And despite Dream saying it's a joke, he's saying that people have actually been using this as evidence against him and taking credit for people's success. The only thing he's taking credit for is shining a spotlight on them and then managing channels like, for example, George Not Found and Sapnap.
I do not take credit for anybody's success on the Dream SMP or anybody that I've done content with. The only reason I made content with these people is because they're talented, successful people. Even people that I channel manage, George and Sapnap and my own channel. You'll never go find a clip of me alluding to the fact or saying, all right, or in any regard implying that I made George or made Sapnap, because we made each other.
He reiterates that he doesn't take credit for anyone's success and thinks that they'd become successful anyway.
The only thing that you could remotely give me credit for is shining a spotlight on them. That's it.
Now, the point I do want to make here, it was the Dream SMP. And I do personally believe, like I've said earlier, a lot of these people wouldn't be successful or anywhere near as successful if they weren't involved in Dream's Minecraft SMP. But the thing is about Dream right now, unfortunately, he's became so unliked by the internet. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. He could take credit for them, but then he just seems like a narcissistic asshole. So he basically just has to say, no, these guys would have blown up anyway, but I did shine a spotlight on them. But again, it does go to that point that I mentioned earlier. I feel like with Dream, he's tried to micromanage people in his community so much to the point that it has basically pushed them away from him. I mean, a good example is what I mentioned earlier. Like, if I had a YouTuber friend that I didn't want to speak to, we'd probably just leave it there. I would be absolutely shocked to find out that this guy would start texting my mom. Sorry, I know it's a mute point, but I that's going to be rent-free in my head for the next week. I just can't believe that even transpired. Finally, after all that, we get to the current situation that sparked all of this, which was, you know, the whole Miskiff XQC thing. So again, to reiterate, Tommy made fun of Miskiff on a podcast, saying that he was unlikable, didn't get on with him. XQC then called Tommy cringe. Tommy then called him cringe back. XQC called him cringe again. So Dream basically thinks that Tommy's attacking XQC solely for popularity, you know, like spreading his wings, going after more and more people. He even spends time defending XQC by saying, guys, he's Canadian. We don't really know if he's a Trump supporter.
So first of all, I think it's important to note, I don't know XQC's political alignment. We haven't talked politics. I don't know his political stances, but he's a Canadian. He's from Canada. And as far as I know, he is not a big, massive Trump supporter. I've never seen him make a tweet supporting Trump. I've never seen him make replies supporting Trump. I've never seen any of that.
Which, to be honest, if you're like criticizing him or defending him, that's not the point. I don't care if you support Orange Man or Changing Accent Woman. I just think going to meet Donald Trump wearing a picture of him on your shirt is cringe, especially the fact that you're being bankrolled by Aiden Ross and his crypto buddies. Cringe, cringe, cringe. Thankfully, even Dream does agree that this is just, it's cringe. It sucks, especially because, you know, it's crypto orientated, money orientated as well.
And then he shows a picture of fucking XQC wearing a Donald Trump shirt, which is fucking cringe, right? You have a shirt of Donald Trump. I think even XQC would be like, yeah, putting Donald Trump's face on a shirt is cringe.
You think X would have done that ever in his entire life if it wasn't for the fact that he now owns shares in Kick? No, he wouldn't. I'm gonna be Donald Trump. But the point Dream is trying to make is he feels that he had to defend XQC, not because it's XQC, even though they are friends and there are videos of them together, more because of the fact that he feels that Tommy, this is like apparently the 10th person that Tommy has snided a tweet towards, apparently using these people for likes to get a leg up to promote like his book or to promote his tour.
My thought was, oh my God, this is like the 10th person I've seen Tommy, attack in the last, however long, in the last, I don't know, 6 months or 5 months or whatever. That's like he thinks is easy pickings to get, get Twitter likes on or, whatever. Obviously with his initial reply, and X is my friend. I like X.
So he revisits the politics. God, I gotta get my roots done. Holy, look at that. It's like Moses parting the Red Sea. Look at that, bro. But he's revisiting the Trump politics stuff again, also talking about Tommy's tweet about Trump and Dream. And he says that Tommy is lying, being dishonest, and spreading misinformation.
And Tommy knows my political point of view, and Tommy knows my opinions, and knows that this is just a lie and an attempt to get people to shit on me for, being a Trump supporter and being, and that's the reason I got involved, when he knows that's not the case.
He says that Tommy apparently knew people would take this and run with it.
He knows that I got involved because of, my problems with him. He knows that I got involved because he's been, shooting shots at me for a while. So it's just very like it's a W, whatever, you get 100,000 likes, like, cool.
And apparently he's clearly proud of causing Dream to crack and mentally snap.
And then also saying he finally cracked. It's like he's been hitting me and hitting me and hitting me and hitting me, and I finally, like, I snapped. I had like he's proud of, like, first of all, that's not what happened, but he's proud of, like in this phrasing, he's proud of, like, causing, like, a mental break, like a snap.
And then finally, 1 hour into the stream, Dream talks about the tweet that blew up this entire situation. The child walking down two paths, given the choice. And yeah, I'm just going to show it on screen again. Now, he says that he didn't make it. He just found it and he posted it, which, I don't know, it's a little bit of a cope, because at the same time, okay, fair enough, you didn't make it, but you're still platforming it by putting it on your Twitter. So it doesn't really make that much of a difference.
So obviously, first of all, I didn't make this meme. I found this meme, and so I think that's it's not that important, honestly, but I think it is. It's relevant.
He then goes on to defend the use of the R slur by saying that he has autism and ADHD. So basically, he won the Every YouTuber on Earth award.
First of all, I'm autistic. I also have ADHD. I'm not. I guess, how do I say? I'm not ableist. Like, I'm not. I guess that doesn't automatically mean that, but, like, I'm not. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm not trying to discriminate against disabled people. Like, that's obviously, I'm not, that's not my intentions whatsoever.
Like, I'm not joking. I think I've got ADHD, right? I think I'm cooked. I've taken, like, loads and loads of tests. I don't have the results back yet, but I can tell the way I answered it. It's over for me. But I put off getting diagnosed for, like, 10 years because I watched so many YouTubers and they're like, oh, I've got ADHD. Do you? Oh my God. Like people that made it their personality type basically shunned me away from getting myself diagnosed. Little side note, but never do that, by the way. Like, if you genuinely think you've got something, definitely get it checked out if you have the ability to do so. Through a doctor, through a therapist, not through fucking WebMD. Please, God, don't do that. Now, Dream is basically trying to make the point that because he's neurodivergent, he is an ableist. He wasn't meaning to be ableist. This is the first instance I could ever find online of Dream talking about the fact that he's got ADHD and autism. I've never seen him mention that before. He might have, and if he has before in the past mentioned that he's got ADHD and autism, fair enough. And I'm going to retract what I'm about to say. But if he hasn't, I feel like, I don't know, it's a bit of a cop-out. It's like, oh, I shared a thing saying this word, but guys, I'm one of you guys, right? Fellas? But again, if he's mentioned that before in the past, like candidly, like publicly, fair enough. Then that's something that people should have picked up on. Now, I really don't want to get into slur discourse. I am probably the last person on the entire planet that should be getting into such discourse. I basically have no platform to say, but the only thing I can say is, speaking from personal experience, I say that word, right? In the past, I definitely said it quite a lot, and I probably still do say it now. It's definitely part of my vocabulary. I try to change it according to, for example, that there are people that I stream to, and then I might say it, and then a mod might reach out to me and basically say, hey, I'm not really comfortable with that word. And then it's like, yeah, okay, fair enough. I mean, you moderate the streams, you do a good job. I don't really see a problem with that. It's not really going to change the content at all. And if it makes you feel more comfortable, yeah, fair enough. But is it still going to slip up when I'm 6 beers down in private? Yeah, probably. I think there should always be a huge difference between what people say publicly and what people say in privately. Because if you try to, like, thought police what people do in private as well, that gets very, very messy. Like the whole meme about, like, the boys group chat being leaked. Dude, if anyone's Discord group chat got leaked now, it would probably be fucking curtains for, like, 90% of people on the internet. But at the same time, Twitter is a public platform. You're sharing those, like, edgy words on a public platform. So probably not the best idea to do that. Dream also brings up the drama between him and Nicholas Cantu. If you remember, that was the voice of Gumball, the kid that was just relentlessly chewing Dream out in the car. But the point Dream is trying to make here is Nicholas said a lot of bad things to Dream, but was basically celebrated for it. But when Dream says something, he's antagonized for it. He's hated for it.
All of Twitter was up in arms, retweeting, celebrating, lighting off fireworks when Nicholas Cantu was the slur-slinging slasher. But I genuinely, after I was getting shit on for using this word, was confused, because the same people that are literally in my replies getting mad at me for using the word had in the past said, hey, Dream, you can't critique Nicholas Cantu for doing this because he's neurotypical, because he's neurodivergent, because of this and that.
But again, the situation with Nicholas and Dream had different variables. But regardless, Dream did say that he does regret having used that word and does say genuinely that he's sorry.
And I think that I totally regret having used the word or not having made a different meme or, I don't know, like cross it out or, whatever. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. That's not something that I don't want people feeling upset.
Which is good to hear. It's not like kind of a, I'm sorry you feel that way, or like, oh, well, sorry if that offended you. Like, he's genuinely sorry. Dream then also talked about the Reddit post that I mentioned way earlier on in the video, something he deleted pretty much instantaneously. He basically said that he wanted to delete it because he wanted to do like a bigger video follow-up response. And he does restate a lot of what he said in the post, like for example, the double standards, how the whole internet's reaction feels disingenuous to him.
I deleted this post before anyone had seen it. Like, I made a post and I was like, and literally I thought I might do a live stream. That's what I thought. I was like, okay, I'm gonna delete it because I might do a live stream. So some of kind of, it was very short still, but anyway, so he talks about my Reddit post.
He also thinks that Tubbo is dancing around the issue and refusing to condemn people that are being cruel to Dream.
Right there, Tubbo just says, multiple people go viral calling me the R word and other words, and that he goes, obviously that's bad. I don't think that needs to be said. It does need to be said. If your community is taking part in that, and it's something that Tubbo, I'm sure, would agree with, and that Tommy in the past at least would have agreed with, if your community is taking part in it, retweeting things, liking things, it's very, it's something that you can obviously say, clear up.
After that, Dream gets to the part where Tubbo accuses him of getting Tommy's mom's phone number. That was after Tommy was doxxed back in 2021.
Now, I might have to fact check this. Take this with a grain of salt. I imagine he got Tom's mum's phone number during the worst of the doxing and the swatting during 2021.
So Tubbo is basically accusing Dream of using this as kind of a gotcha moment and holding it over Tommy's head. Dream says that none of this is true and doesn't even have his mom's phone number. The only place he contacted her at the time was on Twitter.
Which, by the way,
didn't happen. I don't have her phone number. I didn't message.
As a piece of like gotcha so often, it makes me so mad.
It's just not true. I don't even have Tommy's mom phone number. I didn't get it during the doxing situation. I don't have it at all. I DM'd her on Twitter, where she's an active Twitter user as Tommy's mom.
And then after that, Dream proceeds to do whatever this is.
I've came to admit, finally, all my evil plan, it's come together. All of the members on the Dream SMP are under NDA, and they have been for years. And I've been siphoning every dollar they've made from all of the clout that I gave them, because I made every single one of them, and I have their parents' numbers, and I will have them executed. Executed! If they say another bad word, they will perish. I will kill all of them. And also, secretly, I hate all of you.
It is a very bizarre crash out. Obviously, he's doing a bit where it's like, oh, everything that was accused against me, it's all real, guys. I really did it. But I feel like, again, what I said at the beginning, this should have not been a stream. This should have been a pre-recorded video that was concise, condensed, because this stream goes on for nearly 3 hours. This guy could have made amazing points debasing stuff. No one's going to sit through 3 hours, man. I mean, maybe during lockdown in 2020 when no one had anything better to do. Yeah, fair enough, but not now. But yeah, he's basically trying to do a bit saying that he's like the most evil villain. He's got them all under NDAs and a bunch of other rumors that he doesn't believe are true. He's been able to disprove some stuff, like for example saying that he supports Trump, but he doesn't. He actually voted for Kamala instead. He might have voted for Trump in the past. He might be lying about voting for Kamala in the first place. We will never know. But again, I think it comes back to that point that what's happened with Dream is he kept his community so closed off and so secular that it pushed people away. I remember like a couple years ago when he was at his peak, he would put out tweets saying that like his fans or his subscribers, to him, they were like a bunch of kittens. And I remember at the time, even though he was adored back then, people outside of his circle, outside of his like stan group, just thought that is cringe. And I think what's happened now is that group of people, those like Dream haters, has gotten larger and larger, especially because the fact that he's now having a schism with his friend group. Now he circles back to Tubbo's point and he says that he does not and never has had Tommy's mom's phone number. And he says that it was just a rumor that started from Twitter and nothing more than that.
They hear, like, Tommy says, like, oh yeah, you Dream DM my mom. And then, I don't know, somebody, like, just insert British person number one is like, oh my God, he DM'd your mom. That's manipulative. Oh my God. He did that because he wanted to manipulate you, and he did it because he convincing her to then she grounds you, and she takes away all your electronics. Like, bro, like, Tommy was an adult. I DM'd his mom, who's an active Twitter user on Twitter, when she was replying to fans of mine about a situation involving me, giving her context to my opinions.
Tubbo then talks about Dream's The Truth video, where Dream discusses and tries to debunk grooming allegations.
Dream has the public perception that he's put all of the grooming allegations to a bed in a massive document, in a massive video, which is 40-minute video called The Truth. Okay, you can go watch it. When it came out, whether people choose to believe that video or not is crazy, because also...
But even also, it's ridiculous. Like, when he says that, guys, okay, for those of you that are watching and don't know this, that's not a matter... There's not a matter of opinion there. There's not a matter of opinion. The people that made the allegations came out and said that they lied. It's not a matter of opinion anymore. That happened.
Dream then says again that he believes it's really disingenuous and dancing around it and not trying to upset the audience that dislikes Dream.
I think that if Tubbo had, any doubt I was guilty, that he would not be saying things the way that he is. He's saying things the way that he is because he knows that I proved, myself innocent. I cleared up the allegations. Some of Tubbo's audience and a lot of Tommy's audience are still of the opinion that we don't care about the evidence. We're still going to call him a pedophile. And so Tubbo is dancing around with the fact that he doesn't want to upset his audience. And that's, you know what? Like, I understand he's in an awkward position.
Tubbo then claims that Dream basically has enough money to apparently make anything disappear. And then Tubbo claims again that he thinks that Dream basically takes credit for other people's success.
I strongly believe Dream has enough money to genuinely make anything.
And this is just another, I talked about this earlier, but that's just like, it's such a,
I don't think he's actually
it's that take is just so destructive.
Dream downplaying who Tommy is as an adult and making him feel inferior also ties all the way back to when he was so relentlessly taking credit for the people that he helped around him success.
So how?
Eventually, he gets to talking about an incident where he called up Tubbo, and Tubbo shared his reasons for disliking Dream, namely for banning Amesy, another content creator, from his server when they brought up the PDF file allegations. Now, Dream completely denies ever doing this or this even happening. And in his recounting of the situation, Dream says that Tubbo asked him for evidence and he didn't actually ban Amesy. So Dream goes looking for these apparent logs and they're gone. So Tubbo asks him why he deleted the logs. Dream denies doing it. And he says that Discord logs are automatically deleted. And then goes to ask Amesy, who allegedly says that actually Dream didn't ban them at all.
This is word for word essentially what happened. I'm gonna continue. Dream, why'd you delete the logs? Why'd you delete the Discord logs? It's very mighty suspicious that the Discord logs would be deleted. I said, Tubbo, I didn't delete them. Maybe somebody else did. I don't know. They're just gone. There's no Discord logs. I go and look in the logs and I go, yeah, here they are. There's nothing there. And he goes, well, Dream, I don't know if I can believe you because there's no Discord logs. I said, and I Googled it and I go, Tubbo, the logs are automatically deleted. Here's where it says Discord automatically deletes them. Why don't you just ask Amesy? And then he asked Amesy and she said, yeah, I didn't do that. So what the fuck? What the fuck?
Again, unfortunately, this does kind of just boil down into another he said, she said story. You're going to side with the content creator that you like more. Then he moves on to what happened with George Not Found, one of his YouTuber buddies. Now, George Not Found was accused of sexual assault at the time, and this was really heavy stuff. Now, for reasons that aren't really clear, Dream seems to tie Amesy to that situation and makes a post vaguely accusing a nameless person of going around and spreading rumors and manipulating people as part of their master plan. Amesy then DMs him and Dream admits that it was a misunderstanding. Big shock.
Obviously when all this stuff is happening and then like all the George stuff happens, right? And I'm thinking in my mind when that first happens, I'm like, oh my God, it's fucking Amesy. It's fucking Amesy. She started this all. She lied about me banning her from the Discord. She lied about the everything. She lied about it. She lied about the Discord. She's like talking to Katie Bugs and them and whatever. Like, and this is it's all the Amesy's like master plan, and she's doing all of this, right? And so in a Reddit post, I didn't say her name, but I said like, I think there's somebody going around spreading rumors, and they said I banned someone from the Discord, whatever, right? And then Amesy DM'd me and said, hey, I didn't do that. It was a misunderstanding.
So his point with this incredibly drawn out long story is this thing can happen on both sides.
I'd like to point out, by the way, I'm a 27-year-old man and I'm talking about Minecraft drama. Where did my life go wrong, bro? Genuinely, where did it go wrong?
He goes over the same points again, phone calls with people, the Reddit post, and so on. And yeah, it's a 3-hour live stream. He does repeat himself a lot. He starts to kind of yap in circles. This is again why I feel that a stream response is one of the worst things you could do. You need to do a video because, and I will go over this later, Tommy, after Dream's live stream, dropped his own video talking about Dream. This is like a couple of minutes long, easily digestible, and people are probably going to believe that a lot more over Dream's 3-hour unscripted live stream. And one of the big reasons behind that is because the content is so much easier to go through. By making such a long live stream that's unscripted, you're basically filtering out your points to everyone except your diehard fans that would watch a 30-hour stream if they could. And to my surprise, when I was going through this stream, Dream actually name dropped me.
I watched as an example, it was just so funny because I watched I think Pyrocynical, which no hate to Pyro, but I watched Pyrocynical's reaction to my The Truth video, and in his reaction, he said multiple times throughout the video, he's like almost mad that I'm like proving things wrong, and he's like. Both times, right? He's like, yeah, and his PR team did a real good job on this one, a real good job. Yeah, they did a great job. They need to be paid extra for this one. I'm saying like, what? Like, just say bro's clearing his name, first of all. And second of all, for those curious, that video I wrote myself. I didn't have a single other contributor for the writing of that video. The editing, I had some help for scenes because one, it was a massive video, but the video myself, I literally scripted up and wrote the entire thing by myself with zero input from any PR people.
Now, first of all, I really wasn't expecting that. That was a little bit of a Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare for me. But the point he's trying to make here is basically saying that any point that he made that I agreed with, I did it in a fraudulent way, a disingenuous way. It wasn't, oh, that's a good job. It was his PR team did a good job. Now, he does say no hate towards me. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you very much. But the reason why I said PR team is because I don't think it's too much out of the realm of reality that one of the biggest YouTubers in the world at that time was, he had a PR team. It's very normal that when celebrities go through any kind of drama or allegations, they hire a crisis team or they hire a PR team to help them formulate a response. I can see how that can be interpreted as a snide, and to be fair, I will take that. But at the same time, I just don't think it's out of the ordinary. You are an incredibly successful, incredibly wealthy person, and if you're being dragged through the mud, being accused of one of the worst things you can be in the entire world, it would make sense to hire some kind of crisis team. I mean, this is the same guy who did a collab with Linus Tech Tips where he got a server built for him that probably cost tens of thousands of dollars. So the guy is doing incredibly well because the Minecraft scene back then was huge. It was basically the single biggest thing in probably the Western world on YouTube. So yeah, at the time, I don't think it was too out of the question to think that the guy had hired some kind of PR agency or some kind of crisis management team. I do want it to be apparent as well, I don't hate Dream. He seems to think in that clip that I really have it out for him. I definitely don't. I've already said before, I don't like the way that he presents himself. He kind of does it in a holier than thou way. And when he talked about his autism, he might not even be aware that he does it. But again, and I've said this on stream a little bit more unscripted as well, but I personally think that, you'll meet people that you think present themselves in a really disingenuous way. You don't like the way that they talk, the way that they act, their demeanor. But then you could ask someone else and get their opinion on that person and think, oh, this person's fine. No, they're really sweet. And then you kind of internalize a bit and think, oh, am I kind of the asshole here? / am I the asshole? Again, I've never met Dream in person. I've only really seen him from his content and the way that he's presented himself. I'll be honest, because I don't watch Dream's content, I think most of the times I've seen him is just arguing with other people and, tweets that have been taken from his account, like the whole kitten Reddit thing. I'm just not really sure why in that segment of the stream he portrays it like when he made a point that I agreed with, I was absolutely seething. It's just such a bizarre point to make, no! The guy that did the speedrunning video and he crafted a boat in midair because he's that skilled. He proved me wrong. God damn it! God damn it! So Dream here brings up, me as an example, saying that his career and his personality has been killed by a death of 1,000 cuts. Not one big bad thing he's done, but dozens and dozens of rumors going around to the point that they've all built up so much that he's now got the characteristics of being someone really unlikable in the public perception. He even goes on to say that he believes that part of this actually stemmed from in the Dream SMP, he played the villain. So because of that, that basically birthed the seed of him being actually unliked on Twitter and just in general now.
Like, and I think partially, honestly, this sounds ridiculous. It's partially because I played the villain on the Dream SMP. Like, partially that's why. Because everyone like has this like, oh, Dream hurt all our favorite character. It's like, even if it's in the back of their head and they don't realize that's why, it's like, they're like, yeah, Dream's this evil manipulative guy that did all these things. Like, well, like, guys, that was a character.
He then talks a lot about the false PDF allegations against him, putting the responsibility largely on the shoulders of tommyinnit's friends and fan base. Tubbo sympathizes, Dream sure hopes that he sympathizes, and then Tubbo kind of wonders out loud why he brought it up now of all times. Dream says that he's been trying to bring it up and also work on it behind the scenes, and he says that this is the first time that he's brought it up publicly. He then pulls up Jack Manifold's stream. Oh, for fuck. Mate, this is hard enough managing like 3 separate streams. Jack, did you have to go live today? Did you have to? Jack is also wondering why Dream brought this up now. This is when no one except XQC actually mentioned this. Dream then responds by pulling up a gimmick account, tallying how many days it's been since Jack mentioned him.
But maybe if we'd beat him into a corner and we'd been after him for weeks, and in an angry fit of rage because we've just bullied him for weeks, he said that, albeit it'd still be wrong, but I could at least make some sense of it.
I actually forget like how many gimmick accounts there are. Like I think at one point there was a gimmick account that would track what Dream was listening to on Spotify. Parasocial, man, it goes a long way. At this point, Dream tells us that he's getting into the more juicier stuff. Like, for example, how he talks about a call that he got into with Average Harry, who's another content creator. He collaborates with tommyinnit, Jack Manifold. I personally haven't spoke to Harry much. I met him once at a house party. He was a very nice, genuine guy. I personally could not say a bad thing about him, but there was an allegation of Dream bringing a drunk 18-year-old into his room for illicit reasons. Dream said this wasn't true and then told him to delete his tweets about this and to clear it up. He did, and then after that, apparently, they got into a call to discuss why Harry hates Dream. When Harry was like 16 and had around 20 viewers on Twitch, Harry saw that one of Dream's shirts was selling for $30, and it was basically just a pre-existing black shirt with clip art on it. And obviously, in turn, Dream didn't like that his merch was being criticized, and that basically devolved into Dream tweeting about it, and then Dream's entire community dogging on Harry relentlessly.
Harry said, Dream, I don't like you, and I never have. Ever since I made a tweet in 2020 where I critiqued your merch, I compared it, I sped run drawing a smile on a shirt, and you quote retweeted me and gave an example of other brands like Nike that have simple logos. Ever since then, I've hated you, to be honest.
He does go into a little bit more detail about this beef with Harry in call, and then he also goes on to say that he called Jack Manifold as well. And Jack apparently had more valid reasons for disliking Dream and saying that Jack apparently doesn't really hate him. Again, this is Dream's side of the conversations that we're not really being privy to. But again, unfortunately, this is a self-fulfilling prophecy. What have I been saying the entirety of the video? Dream has basically been pushing these people away because he's been like micromanaging them, giving them input, giving them ideas that they might not actually want. It's great if you've got someone huge who's like giving you inspiration and ideas, but then when you feel like they're controlling you, that's not good, even if that isn't their intention. What Dream was doing in that quote tweet to Harry, he basically was, you know, controlling him a little bit, giving him criticism. And I'm not sure what the defense is there. Was it a joke? Was it ironic? But it really does come across, even if Dream didn't mean it, as a little bit controlling. Does that justify what happened afterwards? If what Dream is saying is true? No, definitely not. But again, it does all seem to be stemming from a big creator with a bunch of smaller creators, and then that big creator is trying to give like his input or his feedback or his criticism, and people don't want it, but he'll still keep doing it anyway. All right, let me set up an example here, right? Okay, so Leafy is here. If I was doing merch and Leafy is here, quote tweeted me saying, oh, this looks like this other YouTuber's merch, or it looks like Nike or Adidas or Adidas, however you say the brand, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's great, mate. Cheers. I'd probably be like, you arsehole. And then I'll probably go in my private group chat and cry about it, as I should. So as he nears the end of his stream, Dream talks about some false allegations that were spread by someone in the Dream SMP. And he actually accuses Tommy of going around and spreading these PDF allegations behind the scenes.
There was rumors behind the scenes about a particular Dream SMP creator, which I will not name because they were false, and I do not want to bring anyone's name into allegation talk. And these rumors spread pretty far because Tommy was going around and telling people that this person was a pedophile.
Only then for, apparently, Wilbur Soot to ask him if Tommy actually bothered to look into it. Tommy allegedly says no, everything was fine, and then the allegations were cleared up.
Wilbur back then got told by Tommy, and Wilbur said, hey, have you looked into this? Have you talked to him about it? And Tommy said no. And Wilbur said, okay, well, all right, well, we need to go talk to Dream about it so Dream can look into it. So, of course, they get in a call, and Tommy's forced to tell me, and I go, oh my God, okay, I'll go look into it. I go look into it. I don't know, about 30 minutes later, the creator I'm talking to clears it up. The information was completely false. It was just rumors spread behind the scenes. Trust me, if you just have to take my word for it, it was completely confirmed, 100% they were false.
It was private business. Everyone was a consenting adult. He uses this point to tie it back to Tommy, essentially saying that he has a problem and a history of spreading rumors.
This isn't just a problem that has happened only with me. This is something that is an inherent problem that some creators have, is spreading rumors without them being true.
But again, this is another he said, she said situation. Another problem I've got with this stream is, apart from the direction of it being, you know, very hard to follow, because again, it is an unscripted live stream. It's very kind of off the cuff. There's not a lot of screenshots or proof or backing of any of this happening. And the problem is Dream is not liked by the internet as a whole at the minute. I would definitely say the overwhelming majority of people do not like Dream. And I feel like if you're backed into a corner like that, you really need some like damning hard screenshots to show to make people go, wait a minute. Were we wrong about this guy all along? As opposed to just kind of saying things, because if people are watching this that don't like you, chances are if you're not showing proof, they're just going to choose to not believe you. It turns into a he said, she said situation, but the scale is not in your favor at all. Again, I just feel like for someone who the majority of the internet does not like at the minute, you have to back up claims that you make with evidence, because at this point, people are just going to say, oh, what's your source? I astral projected it in a dream and I witnessed it. Oh, okay, fair enough. So after spending quite a lot of time hammering down the point that it's wrong to spread rumors,
Rumors. Dream
then bizarrely tries to make this point that, you know, people that spread rumors are bad by mentioning an apparent rumor that Jack wasn't a very faithful man. Dream then apparently confronted this to Jack. Jack immediately shut down the rumor, and then he holds this up as an example of how to handle a rumor. You confront the person who it's about, and if they deny it, fair enough.
For Jack's sake, I guess, and for others' sake, I guess I will be very vague on, but there was a rumor that Jack, not a very faithful man. And that was something that I was like, hey, Jack, I heard this rumor. You know what I haven't done? I haven't gone publicly until now and said it and gone, hey, guys, what a dickhead Jack is, because he's a cheater, right? No, I didn't. That's not what happened. And Jack said, no, that's not true. It's not true. I can prove it's not true. It's not true. I said, okay, cool. Do you see how interactions with rumors should generally be handled?
Except for the fact that he brought up the fucking rumor on stream. Again, you've tried to make the point there that the rumors that are spread around you, a lot of them are baseless, a lot of them are lies, and that can really hurt. That's totally valid. That's fair enough. But you don't then do the thing of bringing up a rumor that you heard and then blasting it out. Okay, you didn't go into detail or anything, but you basically just said on a live stream with, when I was watching 15,000 viewers, Jack Manifold is not a very faithful man. Like what does that imply? It's such a weird stance. It's like, well, okay, you've ran with like all this stuff about me that isn't true, but I'm gonna be the better person because I'm not gonna go into detail about the rumors around you. Okay, wow, so brave, bro. That's great. Also, keep in mind the fact he words it very like delicately, saying that Jack wasn't a faithful man.
There was a rumor that Jack, not a very faithful man.
But then seconds later, just says the word cheater out loud as well.
You know what I haven't done? I haven't gone publicly until now and said it and gone, hey guys, what a dickhead Jack is, because he's a cheater.
Like him making the point that every single content creator has a rumor about them. Yeah, 100%. Definitely. You know, you bring up the fact, I mean, he even mentions a point afterwards saying how, you know, Tubbo, there's rumors about you, but he doesn't go into detail on what they are.
The only thing that I've heard about Tubbo that, you know, is, rumors is about private things that don't need to be public. So I won't make them public.
But with Jack, you've basically just thrown out that there's a rumor that he wasn't very faithful and then used the word cheater straight afterwards. Even if if, which he's obviously trying to do, you're trying to make the point that these rumors can destroy credibility, destroy reputation when they're not true. And you're trying to make the point as well that you dealt with it in a more mature way by going to Jack in person and talking it out.
Do you see how interactions with rumors should generally be handled? You seek out evidence or you don't bring it up.
You've still then used the rumor that you believe Jack debased on a live stream as ammo against him.
Now, I won't say Jack didn't provide me with any evidence. You know, he just said, oh, I have evidence. I didn't see anything. But I'm still going to take Jack at his word for it, mostly, just because I don't have much evidence. I have, word, but that's it.
And I know that a point was trying to be proven and stuff like that, but sometimes like lines like that just can't be crossed. I mean, to be fair, the best thing he could have done, apart from not mentioning it, he could have, done exactly what I did with Tubbo. There's been rumors about you, Tubbo. There's been rumors about you, Jack, and then just not going to detail on it. Anyway, so after that, Dream, for pretty much the rest of the stream, starts talking about run-ins he's had. That's with other creators, like, for example, Jack Manifold, Ludwig, Average Harry, and some others. These stories go pretty similarly. These people don't like Dream, or they've heard, like, negative things about him. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it isn't, and it makes him feel frustrated because there isn't enough communication. It is interesting when he talks about, especially with Ludwig, because Ludwig was never involved in that scene, but even he said, I'm not really going to do a video on your situation, but he says that, well, I don't really have a good perception of you because you called one of my friends a whore. And Dream basically defends himself by saying, I don't remember doing that, but, if I did, I'm sorry.
When I DM'd Ludwig after the truth video went up, and I asked him, like, hey, are you making I think you should make a video about this. I think it'd be really beneficial. I want to clear my name, whatever. And he alluded to the fact, like, the community is, still figuring this out. Are still, like, conflicted about it, so I don't want to make a video. And I was like, I don't like that, but whatever. But he said that he still essentially had potentially a negative, like, view of me. And I was like, well, why? What's the problem? And I like Ludwig. I think Ludwig's content's great. I think Ludwig's a great guy. I think that he's done a lot of awesome stuff. And I have none of this is to expose Ludwig or anything. It's literally just, I think it's important to bring up. But I said, why? And he said, you called one of my friends a whore. And of course I said, oh, that's terrible. When did I do that? Who did I call a whore? Or like, what's the scenario around this, right? And he said, well, I can't tell you who, I can't tell you where, but like it did happen. And he goes, it was like a joke. It was like a joking way, but you did do it. And of course I was like, oh, well, I mean, I don't make a habit of going around and calling people whores, especially not like in a derogatory way or anything like that. So I was like, well, I don't know when this could have happened, but like, I don't want to say you're lying. Like but also at the same time, I'm thinking in the back of my head, like, I don't think Ludwig's lying, but like, what if someone else is? Or what if there's, I've had so many lies spread around, like, what if there is? And my response to Ludwig essentially was like, hey, I'm going to assume that happened. I'm sorry that happened. I never want to offend anybody. A few years ago, that was something that I more jokingly did say, like, I would call like Georgia whore or whatever. But at the same time, I was like, I've never used it in like a bad way, like a derogatory way, or a way to like it wouldn't be a reason to like hate me. Like, I didn't, or not a reason to like think I'm a bad guy or something. Like, I don't know the context. And he said like it was outside of like a club or something, and I was drunk and it was a joke.
He basically tries to put out that if you want to speak to him about like, any questions or any rumors, you should go directly to him.
And people are probably also a lot of afraid, like Tubbo or somebody, maybe afraid of having a private conversation with me because of either rumors they've heard, or because they think like, oh my God, I don't want my fans to think I like Dream. Like because they think Dream's this terrible person. And so it makes everything worse for everyone, not just for me. It makes everything worse for everybody. I'll say again that if there's any questions or concerns that anybody has about behind the scenes rumors or things that you hear from other creators or things, please reach out to me. Like as a creator, reach out to me, DM me, talk to me. I'm not going to bite. I'm not going to, whatever. Like I will be upfront with you. I'll be honest with you. I'll talk to you. I'll be reasonable about it. I'm not going to judge you for thinking something. I'm not going to, whatever. I don't want things spread privately about me, and I don't want things spread, I think lies spread about anybody.
So there's a little bit left over that I did want to cover as well, because he does open up his chat to ask some questions. Someone in chat actually did ask him, why did you skip over something Tubbo spoke about, which was inappropriate conversations in Dream's SMP Discord?
So why is Dream skipping over Tubbo talking about the inappropriate conversations happening in Discord calls on the SMP? I didn't intentionally skip over that. Yeah, one of the things that Tubbo, so I guess Tubbo didn't give specifics, so I'm not going to give Zach specifics, but I'll give more specifics than Tubbo did, because again, it does make it seem a lot worse than the way that Tubbo is phrasing it. I do think that eventually it's something that could be, used in like a gotcha moment of like, oh my God. But first of all, it doesn't involve me, other than the fact that obviously the Dream SMP is my thing, so it's my Discord, whatever. But Tubbo brought up to me one of the previous times we called, how looking back on, some interactions that he had in the Dream SMP Discord that he, was uncomfortable because he was 17 or whatever at the time. An interaction that he, brought up was that in one of the Dream SMP chats or whatever, there was like fan art porn image shown.
The first issue was that someone sent Bad Boy Halo and Skeppy, which are two other Minecraft creators, fan art to make fun of it on call. And Tubbo was uncomfortable with this because he was 17 at the time. He talks about how Tubbo is apparently looking at it all wrong, how it wasn't inherently predatory and they were just making fun of it.
The way that I kind of looked at it as Tubbo was like, well, no one, I don't think anyone in that scenario was trying to be creepy or predatory to anybody. It was people treating Tubbo like he was, just like them, like he was an adult, which probably shouldn't have happened. But it's also something that Tubbo and Tommy both asked many times. They both said, don't treat us any different. Don't treat us like anyone else. Don't, whatever. But at the same time, they're kids. They're young. They're minors at that point. You shouldn't take their word for that.
There were some other questions as well, but nothing really too heavy. And then after that, he concluded the stream and it ended. So that was a lot. You can see why I didn't upload yesterday. I don't even know if this video will come out tonight because at the minute I'm recording, it's been over 2 hours long. I just felt like if I wanted to talk about this video, I had to cover all bases or I just shouldn't even bother covering it at all. Now, Dream expectedly on Twitter received a huge amount of hate. And then to add on top of that, Tommy actually ended up uploading a YouTube video onto his main channel just called Dream. And I do want to say, thank God it's only 5 minutes long. If this was like another 3-hour live stream, like Jesus Christ. Tubbo as well, like I mentioned earlier, did a stream responding to Dream stream, which is 7 hours. It took me this long to go over a 3-hour stream. God, please just murder me. But to go over Tommy's video, because it's incredibly short, he basically just makes the point that Dream probably needs to seek some kind of therapy. But he does open up the video by saying that the R-slur is like a really shitty thing to do. It's inappropriate and he should just not do it.
You can't throw around the R-slur, mate. You just can't.
And he also claims that Dream and his friends behind the scenes have been incredibly sexist. Not just about George Not Found situation, but apparently in general.
I cannot believe how the George stuff from a year ago went down. I cannot believe the response to it online. It's disgusting. It's sexist, man. And you and your friends' references and the way you talk about women behind the scenes has been so sexist too. Shame on you guys.
Although offering the same benefit of the doubt to Dream that we gave to Tommy, this is just Tommy's word. Again, there's no screenshots that prove any of this. Tommy then says directly to Dream, because he knows Dream will watch the video, that he doesn't care, he doesn't take responsibility, and he was apparently horrible to Tommy and others as a teenager.
I give a shit. I'm trying. I'm putting in effort and I really care. And I take responsibility when I've fucked up. When I was 16, you gave me YouTube advice and you held that over my head for years. You didn't treat me like an equal and you made me feel small.
He tells Dream that he harassed his mom while Tommy's mom was going through a divorce, something that he's actually talked about in previous videos.
You harassed my mum as she was going through a divorce. The worst time of her life. You tried to harm the relationship between me and my mum. And if we weren't best friends, with the shit that you were saying, you probably could have really harmed that, mate. You are like a proper movie villain.
And he should be ashamed of how badly he's been behaving and how much he's apparently refused to get better. Tommy then basically ends the video by, like what I was saying, to get therapy, log off and touch some grass.
Figure your shit out, man, because how you behave right now is just not going to cut it.
So a while after that, Dream then tweeted a now deleted post saying that Tommy was a liar and he would be responding. So we might actually be getting another Dream live stream or some kind of video. I have no idea. But a big question here, because he's one of the main players that we haven't really checked up on. Quackity. What was Quackity's say on this entire situation? Well, if you want me to be honest with you, he couldn't care less. He basically started shilling merch on stream.
Look at how fucking cute this hoodie is.
So that's at the point we are now, and that's why this video has gone on so long, because it's basically going over like a few streams, YouTube videos. It is very, very lengthy. I think the biggest problem with this situation is we're not being shown any proof. A lot of it will devolve into he said, she said situations. And because Dream is disliked on the internet at the minute, it's going to be a lot easier to believe people going against Dream than Dream himself. And also I do think, like what I've said multiple times throughout the video, I think Dream's personality, or the way that, his demeanor is to be quite controlling. I don't want to say that he's like an evil master manipulator and this was his whole plan. I just think because he has a community of people that, got big because of an SMP that was named after him, he feels like he can have input on these people a lot more than what other people would really have. Like, for example, I talked about earlier with Average Harry and, critiquing his merch. It only sounds like a very brief thing, like, oh, he said my merch was similar to others. Like, okay, get over it. But at the same time, if like the biggest creator in your entire circle, who's basically like God, comes down and says, this is mid, like you're probably going to slowly end up building resentment against that person. And then Dream is obviously trying to make it out that people have a stained opinion of him. But again, it's hard to reach out and talk to the guy who criticizes other people and then will call his fan base a bunch of kittens. Oh yeah, and you know how I brought up Miskiff at the start of the video? Apparently Miskiff actually went onto Jack Manifold's stream to squash the beef, which is, you know, pretty based.
It's all water. Look, this whole thing's water under the bridge.
Yeah,
I just wanted to call and say that I'm sorry.
That's fine, man. That's all right. I mean, I you know, that's all good.
I think, unfortunately, as much as Dream feels the need to clear his name, I think he just keeps feeding into this drama because he continuously talks about it. If people are talking shit about you online, it hurts. I get it. But at the same time, you can't try to shoot down every single person that says a bad thing about you. And if you need to respond, fair enough. Use your platform to do so. But doing it in these like unscripted live streams where there's a lot of repetition and you're basically whittling it down to diehard fans that would watch anything you put out, it is not a good way to do it. Genuinely, I have never seen anyone, I'm sure I'll be proven wrong, I've never seen anyone do a live stream response that was well received. But to be fair, me saying that, the only thing I can think of at the minute is Shane Dawson having a crash out when Tati Westbrook made a video on him.
I'm live because I can't even process. I need a drink of water. This is insane. This is insane. This woman is a fucking... Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm going to wait till as many people get in here as possible because I'm losing my mind.
But what's my takeaway from this? Don't play Minecraft? I don't know. I don't know how to end this video. I'm exhausted after going on for so long. I'm going crazy. I'm actually going fucking crazy.